The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.
But we'll introduce our first guest. He's pulled over on the side of the road. Hitchhiking, actually. I don't think he's hitchhiking. Please welcome. We heard from him a couple of weeks ago at the Gentleman's Expo in the Tweed booth, Tweed Main Street. This guy is known as the Wizard, or probably what his parents like to call him, Adam Greenblatt. Hi, Adam. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah,
tickle toast.
Oh yeah, man, the tickle meister. You know how it is. Where are you headed?
I'm off to the Tweed Christmas party, man. It's that time of year.
Oh, that's so cool, man. How great is that party?
It's a pretty rad party. We throw a pretty good shindig out in Perth, which is close to our headquarters in Smiths Falls. So it gets bigger every year. We're going to pack the place. Thanks
for the invite.
Oh man, it got lost in the mail.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Well, listen,
sandbox, man.
You jumped on our show a few weeks back, and I found the way your mind worked fascinating, because you're just a good dude and obviously a big advocate of the legalization of marijuana and of course for medical purposes. But one of the things that, we spoke about policy and stuff, and we spoke about your company, but we didn't really talk about like your reason for getting kind of into this industry and stuff. And I thought, well, where does the Wizard come from, and how did the Wizard get involved in sort of the marijuana game?
So the Wizard's actually kind of a new nickname that my colleagues at Tweed have bestowed upon me, and I think it really just comes from the fact that cannabis is kind of second nature to me. I've been doing this for quite a long time, more than 10 years. I got into this because, my dad actually suffers from multiple sclerosis, and he was actually diagnosed with that when I was born, and when I was a teenager, when I was 18, I'd been getting into some trouble for smoking pot myself, but that was actually also the time when he started using cannabis as a medicine. And, as it turns out, I was the only person in my household who knew where to get any. And it worked really well for him. It actually got him off of his opioids, which were causing a lot of problems. It allowed him to cut down on other medications, which were giving him some nasty side effects. And it really got his quality of life back. And really, since then, I've been, I've dedicated my life to cannabis legalization and safe access for medical purposes. I worked in dispensaries in Montreal for 8 years. I ran my own dispensary and cannabis bakery for a few years. I co-founded a clinic called Santé Cannabis with my partner, Aaron Prosk. And that's Montreal's first medical marijuana clinic and still the largest. And just last summer, I left Santé Cannabis to join Tweed as head of Quebec engagement, in quotes, and now I'm the Quebec brand manager for Tweed. So I manage the brands out here in Quebec. We're getting ready to launch a new one for the Francophone market, and that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you're only 20. It's amazing. No, but you're a pretty young guy. Like, you're very entrepreneurial. How when you say you started sort of one of the first ever medical marijuana joints, how old were you when you did that? And obviously you did it partly because you saw what it did for your grandfather and helping his illnesses.
Yeah, I'm turning 33 at the end of the month. But I guess I started. Geez, how old was I? I started my own dispensary in 2010, which means I was 25. So my brain had just stopped developing when I opened my first dispensary in Montreal. And in 2014, the idea with the clinic was it was kind of time to stop breaking the law. It was time to stop working outside of the regulations and to really integrate myself into the system that was coming into reality, sort of thing, and I haven't looked back since. It's been an awesome trip.
Yeah, I really respect that in terms of, you might have been on sort of one side of the fence, but which is at the end of the day, which is illegal, having illegal dispensaries. It's one of those things that I've gotten to long conversations with both Jody and Mark Emery about, and saying, listen, we love the fact that you're advocates, and we love the fact that you've sacrificed so much of yourselves to get to the point where we're getting today. But at some at some point also, and it's the analogy I always give, it's, you know, like if I want to have a drink, I can't just go and try and make some sort of tequila in my bathtub and then sell it to people at the park. Like, you just can't do that. And there's regulations for a reason. And the regulations might not be everything that, say, the advocacy groups had always wanted. But the fact is, there's a pretty effing awesome compromise right now. And that being, we see the easy process right now for those who need it on a medical basis. Yes, is it still tax? Sure. Is that something we'll continue to fight? Yes, we will. And then now headed towards July 1st, or maybe just after. And personally, I think it's going to be about a month or two after. I don't think it's going to hit July 1 when everything's going to be legal. But we're getting there. And are there some kind of laws in place that we're not happy with in terms of fines, maybe, if it gets into a minor's hands? And why is it so different than alcohol? Yeah, maybe we're not happy with that right now. But the fact is this, we're doing it in a way that everyone truly is winning because there's going to be access, and we're doing it in a way that we're kind of going to be able to amend stuff carefully as we learn about it and learn truly how it affects all the, you know, the common folk, I like to say, who still have that stigma, and we're ending the stigma. Yeah. So I really appreciate you doing that approach where I like to say, it seems like the wizard, not only the wizard, but you're a guy with a very rational mind.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, you know, that old school kind of activism, I think it's like less and less relevant, you know, and I think that there are some activists out there who just are blind to the fact that we're actually winning. And I like to say that, you know, the days of civil disobedience, I think, are kind of over, where we're moving away from civil disobedience and into more of like creative compliance. Fitting within the rules. It's like working with Health Canada. It's working within the system, and there's way more that we can accomplish from within the system than from outside of it.
What it is a wonderful compromise, and we're getting there, man. It's exciting, and not only are we getting there, we're getting there. And I'm getting to know your entire family over there at Tweed Main Street, and you know, the bigger parent company, Canopy Growth, and Bruce Linton calls in every Friday, and we're just learning with everyone, and that's what I love, having the speakerphone here, helping people learn from those who know best, and really between, you know, the minds of a guy like you and a company that's the world's largest LP. What better of a professor, you know, like just the entire process of it, and not only that, you guys are winning awards now. So we spoke to Bruce last week a little bit about this, I believe the Lift Cannabis Expo Awards, and Bruce didn't really get into what awards you had won because we were talking about so many other things, including I think car shopping. But what awards did you guys win last week?
Yeah, man. So at the Canadian Cannabis Awards, we won Deal of the Year for our acquisition of Metrum, which actually happened last year.
You know, when you say Deal of the Year, you got to be honest, that's kind of funny, right? Like, you know, the last guy who won it was in an alley, but
yeah. I joked that we may have won Dealer of the Year, but yeah. So we won Deal of the Year for our acquisition of Metrum. We won Best Charitable Effort. We contributed some funds to the Canadian AIDS Society this year to help them develop some physician education tools, and we also won Best Innovation of the Year for our website, Tweed Main Street, which is the largest online marketplace for legal cannabis in Canada. And the reason that was so innovative was we brought several different licensed producers under one umbrella. So you used to have a prescription actually to buy from each of these producers, but we brought them all under Tweed Main Street and simplified the process for everything. And now there's, you know, it's probably the biggest medical cannabis shop under the ACMPR.
Well, and I'm proud to say that, you know, I potentially might be a upcoming patient. It's something that I've sort of considered doing for many years to help with my anxiety. And only this week did I just sort of register online for my first step. And then the next one will be meeting a medical professional to see if I qualify. But so, you know, like, yeah, and it was a simple process for those who were interested. And you know, I've been super anxious the last couple months. Well, I've been anxious my whole life pretty much. I always say it's the best diet plan. That's why people always ask me why I'm so skinny. It's because I'm anxious. But I want to kind of deal with this stuff and understand it. So thank you so much for helping me do so. The last question I want to ask you, it's sort of different, but you know, we see athletes, and Brett Kissel's here. Join in anytime, by the way, in this conversation, dude. Anytime. We hadn't introduced him. Country star, country singer, huge star. He's got like #1 hits going on right now all over the place. What a beauty. Brett Kissel's back in studio, is going to co-host the whole show. I saw this Russian, the entire country of Russia, the entire country and all their athletes, they're like, you're not coming into the next Olympics. There's this big ban recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think, because there's like, drugs get in the way of that. How does that sort of impact, your thoughts, Adam, on drugs and Olympics and banning and stuff, and especially when it comes to marijuana?
Well, I mean, it's cool. Like the World Doping Agency actually just removed CBD from like the list of banned substances. So we're starting to see like an opening.
I didn't know
there,
that,
especially in like, yeah, and we're seeing that in football. Like a lot of players in like concussive sports are in droves turning towards medical cannabis for various reasons. But I mean, on this Olympics thing, honestly, I think the controversy generates a lot of stigma. As a spectator, I would frankly rather just see a dope Olympics. Like, stop getting them in trouble and just make a whole separate category for people who want to like juice and
that would be hilarious.
Yeah, man, like you want to upgrade your body with nanorobots and like turn into a cyborg.
I like this guy.
Everyone would love watching that, man.
But Bilal knows me well. How many times have I talked about the Juice Olympics?
Yeah,
it's something I say on the show all the time, Adam. It's at this point, it's just those who aren't getting caught that are really winning the medals. So you know what? Let's just go and see everyone figure out, have their best scientists or whatever works for you, and see who truly is the most superior human being. I don't care how you're influenced, and just go and kick butt. And eventually then we'll just have those against like artificial intelligence, and that will be a great, like I'd say, 2048, that's going to be the Olympics. Like the AI will have their own kind of category. It's going to be amazing.
Well, like I want to see the chess game between like the super smart guy who's been microdosing mushrooms against the like AI computer. He's got a little bit of CBD, he's got his vape pen, he's on a little bit of mushrooms, and he's like kicking ass at chess.
He's super clear, no doubt, no doubt. I love it, man. I love everything you guys are doing, and you're such candid, fun people. Adam, have fun at the Canopy Growth and the Tweed Main Street Christmas party tonight. And look forward to having you back on the program. The Wizard, everybody. That's the Wizard right there. Just a beautster.
Me, guys.
Cheers, man. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, Dad. Bye, guys.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.